The birth of the veil. Before the first sound, there was only the weight of silence. A silence so deep it felt like it could swallow even time. The old god stood at the edge of that silence, gazing upon a vast plain of nothing, a flat, endless land beneath a wide, unbroken sky, empty, waiting, yearning for life. The gods had made the world, but they did not yet understand what it meant to fill it. So they gathered, ancient and uncertain, and together they exhaled. Their breath was long and low, like a sigh that had waited since the beginning of time. It rippled through the air, stirring dust that had never moved before. The silence cracked, and sound was born, the whisper of wind across dry soil, the first heartbeat of the world. And from that stir of breath, the land began to wake from its endless slumber. From the soil rose Nysera, the daughter of the land. Her skin was the colour of wet clay after gentle rain, her eyes the gentle green of a spring field after the thaw. When she touched the ground, it bloomed, and a brush of her hand would coax ferns and flowers to life. A hum from her lips would summon great groves and glades. She looked around her vast empty home and smiled softly, for she knew it was beautiful, even if lonely. Above her the sky shivered, a storm gathered, not of anger, but of curiosity, of something wanting to be. From its heart stepped Nysera, daughter of the sky. Her hair shimmered like lightning behind the clouds, and her voice was a low, rolling rumble of thunder that brought comfort more than it frightened. When she smiled, light scattered from her lips, warming all the air below. For a time, Nysera and Nysera wandered apart, land and sky, each shaping beauty in their own unique way. Nysera raised hills and rivers, Nysera brushed them with rain and wind. But one day, as Nysera bent to admire a pool that had gathered in a hollow, she saw something shimmer in its surface, a glint of gold, a flash of movement. And for the first time, she saw eyes gazing back. Nysera had been watching. They studied one another through the water's mirror. With a whispered silence, Nysera reached toward the reflection. Her touch against the water caused ripples distorting Nysera's face. But that feeling lingered, a pull, deep and aching, like gravity learning a new kind of longing. For a time they sought each other in reflections, in rivers, in puddles, in still lakes that caught the sky's light, and with each reflection they came closer. Nysera carved a river so wide that it could catch more of Nysera's light, while Nysera poured herself into rain so her tears could fall and feed Nysera's growing forests. The gods watched, holding their breath when Nysera and Nysera held each other's eyes, and even with the vast distance between them, the gods could see the spark. This was something they could never have predicted. Nysera and Nysera's connection deepened until sight and sound were no longer enough. So Nysera, with hands of earth and stone, raised a mountain towards the heavens. Its peak pierced the edge of the clouds, and there, for the first time, land and sky met. They stood together, their forms trembling with the enormity of what they had done. When Nysera's clay fingers brushed Nysera's glowing skin, the world shuddered with pure joy. Lightning danced, rivers roared, and trees bent toward the wind as if to witness the moment. Their love became creation itself. Everywhere they walked, the world bloomed brighter. Nysera's forest grew deeper and richer, while Nysera's rains watered the lands until they drank sunlight itself. Where they kissed, fire was born. Where they laughed, rivers sang. And where they wept in joy, oceans gathered to hold their tears. The gods watched this unfold with awe. They had built a world, but Nysera and Nysera had given it heart. Moved by their devotion, the gods wept, and from their tears came new life. Animals rose from the rivers, crawled from the clay, soared in the winds. They filled the world with song, hunger, and the endless motion of living. Nysera's grass could now give food, her trees shelter. Sera's wind could now give flight, her sky adventure. But the gods did not stop there. They wanted voices that could sing praise, hands that could build, hearts that could reflect. And so they created the Fae, beings of light and grace shaped from the purest thread of Nysera and Sera's love. Nysera and Sera rejoiced, surrounded by the glow of creation itself. The Fae were storytellers and singers, weavers of magic and dream. They roamed the land in wonder, their eyes glittering with the world around them. They built gardens that hummed with life, made shelters from rock, stick and earth. They whispered with the trees, swam in the water's embrace, sang to the mountains above, and watched the language of the clouds. For centuries there was peace and unity. Land and sky were one heart, and magic flowed like breath, effortless and eternal. But peace, as always, stirred envy. From the furthest edges of the sea came strangers, beings of hunger and want. They saw the beauty of Nysera's forests and Sera's light, and they coveted it. They brought machines to tear apart trees and built towers that clawed at the heavens. Their hearts were dark with greed, and their desires were full of hatred. War came to the world like a wicked winter. The Fae fought bravely, magic and empathy against steel and hate, but the invaders brought with them a poison. That poison was doubt and fear. Wherever they walked, the light dimmed. Wherever they took, magic waned. Nysera and Sera withdrew to the mountains, holding each other and weeping as their creation crumbled. Nysera's river grew bitter with ash, while Sera's storms turned violent, lashing out against those who harmed the land. But even they could not hold back the tide, for magic was built on love, their love, not hate and greed. The air thickened with despair and magic. The living pulse of the world began to unravel. Spells faltered mid-word. Flowers forgot to bloom. Trees no longer whispered. Even the stars seemed to turn their faces away. And then, as if the world itself could bear no more, the veil was born. It came not as a sudden strike, but as a slow, sorrowful shroud. At first it was a mist that clung to the edges of the mountains. Then it thickened, heavy as morning. A cloud unlike any other, dark yet blinding, heavy yet without weight, stretched from horizon to horizon, swallowing the line where land met sky. The veil rolled across the world, and when it settled, all light changed. Colours dulled, shadows deepened. The stars fell silent, hidden beyond its reach. The gods tried to tear it away, but even they could not touch it, for the veil was not of their making. It was born from the breaking of love, from the scream of the world itself. And when it came, it tore Nysera and Sera apart. They reached for each other through the storm, but their hands met only emptiness. Their cries echoed across creation like thunder in the heavens and quakes in the soil. For 8 days and nights the world trembled beneath their grief. Rivers overflowed, mountains split, and every living creature felt the ache of that separation deep within their bones. And then, silence. The veil remained, a wound that would not heal, a darkness so white. It hung above the land like a forgotten promise, a reminder of love breaking and the price of greed. Some days it loomed dark and swollen like thunderclouds. Other days it thinned to a whisper, almost unseen, but its weight was always there. And in that silence, another repercussion. From that moment on, any Fae who died no longer had magic to guide them home. Their souls no longer flew to the stars but drifted, trapped within the folds of the veil, caught between worlds, echoing in the whispering dark. The gods turned away, sorrowful and ashamed. The lovers slept, one beneath the earth and one above the clouds, their dreams separated by the endless wound between them. but not all hope had been lost. Far from the broken cities, in temples carved from bones of mountains, the priestesses still remembered. They gathered in candlelight and whispered to the shadows, their words drifting upward like smoke. Magic is not lost, they said. It only sleeps. They lit their candles with trembling hands and breathed life into each flame, as if reminding the world how to breathe again. Love is older than gods, they murmured. Older than war, older than fear. When the world remembers how to love, the veil will fade. And though few listened, their words endured, carried on wind and water, lingering in dreams, waiting for hearts brave enough to believe. They say that one day, when compassion outweighs greed, when kindness outshines fear, Nysera and Nysera will find each other once more. Their reunion will not come with thunder, but with a single breath, the kind that began the world, and in that breath, the veil will dissolve like mist in the morning light. Until that day, the world remains divided, land and sky, seen and unseen, yet every act of love, every soft word, every healing touch weakens the shadow a little more. And when people cry out, "Why do the gods not save us?" the priestesses only smile, their faces lit by candlelight, and whisper, "Child, why do you believe the gods are the only ones who can?" They pause, listening to the world breathe. Then, softly they add, "Listen." Because even now, through the wound and the silence, the world is still breathing. It is not forgotten. It is only waiting.